Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Saturday, March 28th, 2015. Here in the Lynn-Body-Mind, it's me, Ra, and to a lesser extent, Luce. In the Jamie-Body-Mind, it's Asha, and to a lesser extent, Pan. We've been working to fulfill our foundational assignment, which is to be a working portal for higher dimension beings to work through to trigger the awakening right now. Always higher dimensions than the dimensions in which we are operating. So that is our intention for this work today. And with that, it begins. We are in some kind of library. It's in the higher dimensions for Planet Saskatch.
That's true.
And it might be a personal library or a larger library.
That's true.
Someone is saying, what do I know? Well, I know that Luce has been conducting an investigation as to the integrity levels of the higher dimension beings of Planet Saskatch.
That's true.
And that investigation has been motivated primarily by his own bad experiences in the past of working in the dimensions affiliated with Planet Earth. Planet Earth, of course, being a subatomic particle in Planet Saskatch.
That's true.
We have been watching Luce's explorations, and we have seen an awful lot of evidence that shows higher dimension beings of Planet Saskatch have integrity, are in it for real, are doing what higher dimension beings for Planet Earth purport to do.
That's true.
But aren't actually doing.
Right, that's true.
At Planet Saskatch, they appear to be actually doing it for the most part, at least for the sample size that Luce has been through, which is definitely in the hundreds of thousands.
That's true.
And maybe more. It feels like hundreds of thousands
That's
of
true.
higher dimension beings he has sampled. So far, they're all for real.
That's true.
Therefore, we would take as our working theory that whoever this being is who's walking around this library is also for real.
Yes, that's true.
And this being has a furrowed brow and is looking at teeny weeny little reports, and they're obviously reports from some of these subatomic particulate levels.
Yes, that's true.
That these higher dimension beings seem to be freshly aware of.
Yes, that's true.
And this seems to be a report from Herb.
Yes.
Herb, who has worked to supervise Charles and Fernando.
Yes, that's true.
And Herb has credibility up here.
Yeah. Big time.
Big credibility. And this being with furrowed brow is reading Herb's report. It looks teeny.
Tiny, like dollhouse.
Yes,
Tiny.
dollhouse or smaller.
Yes.
Like a report you'd expect to receive from an ant.
Yes, that's true.
Auntie. Not auntie.
Yes.
From an ant.
That's true.
It's disturbing.
Very.
And this being is somebody very important because he's really taking it in at the heart level that this was his responsibility, and this occurred on his
my
watch.
That's true.
This occurred on my watch. And he's attempting to discern. My story is he has his channels up. I can feel them.
That's true. Yeah, I can feel them up.
He has his channels up, and he's attempting to discern the instructions from higher dimensions.
That's true.
What now? The answer that seems to be coming to him.
Yes, it's
Clearly,
true.
use the tools that are available, and then the follow-up question is, what are the tools that are available?
That's true.
And so he's laying out teeny weeny little, they're round cylindrical, teeny weeny little cylinders,
That's
teeny weeny
true.
little pillars, teeny weeny little vessels.
That's true.
Got it. Well, on Planet Saskatch, there aren't humanoid vessels, but there are vessels from the nature realms. We have this Canine Pack that
That's true.
seems to be an amalgam of wolves, huskies, and a Scottish deerhound.
That's true.
And they've come together because there aren't enough of any of their tribes,
Right.
quote unquote, to survive on their own. They've come
true.
together so that they can work together. And they have seen the disaster that's playing out in the Arctic regions of Planet Saskatch,
Yes.
which Earth's disasters mimic. Earth's disasters seem to be an
That's
accurate
true.
carbon copy of the disasters on Planet Saskatch,
That's true.
with the exception that Earth's higher dimension beings are tainted,
Yes, that's true.
and Earth's nature realms are also tainted.
That's true.
On Planet Saskatch, the nature realms so far seem to be willing to live their soul plans, not resistant.
Yes, that's true.
And the higher dimension beings seem to be channeling higher dimension beings and
Yes.
supporting sentient presence on Saskatch.
Yes, that's true.
So we see these various and sundry wolves and dogs of this one community, this one tribal community, who are already offering themselves as vessels to higher dimension beings. And as those higher dimension beings work through them, subatomic particles
Yes.
inside of their bodies seem to be the Lynn-Body-Mind,
That's
the
true.
Jamie-Body-Mind, or from different particles.
That's true.
I seem to have a view of a wolf's snout, but it could be me, Ra, who has the view of it.
Right, that's true.
And it could be you, Asha, who has the view of that,
the Scottish deerhound.
the Scottish deerhound snout. And we could test this by switching bodies somewhere down the road and see
Right,
what
that's
happens to the view. And they're saying, well, just do it right now. Well, Asha here, I see the Scottish deerhound snout.
I see the wolf snout. Ra here.
Okay, well, let's switch back.
Ready?
Okay. Ooh. Oh, it feels like handing a microphone off.
It does.
Oh, that's cool. Let me settle back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I know that I seem to be affiliated with that wolf snout.
It's true.
I, Ra, seem to be affiliated with the wolf snout.
I, Asha, seem to be affiliated with the Scottish deerhound snout.
So it's even possible that these Lynn-Body-Mind and Jamie-Body-Minds
Are in different.
are someplace entirely different.
Yeah,
They
that's
could be
possible.
subatomic particles in the landfill. Oh, interesting.
That
We
could
were already
be.
told that they were subatomic particles in the landfill.
That's true.
Got it.
That would make sense.
Got it. Okay, bing. Instantly we're back in the library with that really big being.
That's true.
And so, check. We have the wolf pack, dog pack, the
Yes.
canine adoptive family,
Right,
let's call
that's
it.
true.
Tribe, the canine tribe.
Yes, that's true.
And there are several big round cylinders, and my story is there's one for all of us.
That's each
Ra,
of us.
Asha, Pan, Luce, Sam,
Yeah.
Glenn,
True. True.
Paul,
Yes. True.
and more, because there's the black
There's other
wolf
ones.
over there.
That's true.
And there are other willing ones I see.
That's true.
There are plenty of willing vessels for even more
That's true.
to occupy at that level. And so now I see it's as if this higher dimension being rang a bell or made some phone calls or something, and now
Yeah.
there's a small group of it seems like committed
Yeah.
beings, and they seem to be beginning the process of moving into those other available nature realms bodies that black wolf already had. Maybe
That's
this guy
true.
is the person in the black wolf.
That's possible.
That could
That's
be.
possible.
The energy feels
Very similar,
very
not the
similar.
same.
My working theory
My working
is
theory is
that's who
same
there I
person.
get a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Ah, from the black wolf.
That's true.
Which is interesting since wolves don't really have thumbs.
That's true.
That was a good trick. All right, so this is the black wolf.
Yes.
It is an honor to meet you, sir. And now we see how this wolf pack is already actively running through the forests, just as Canine Pack. I
That's
said Wolf
true.
Pack, but I meant Canine Pack. Just as Canine Packs do
That's
to
true.
find food, but as they're going, they're speaking to the trees
That's
and
true.
explaining what's going on, and the trees are going, oh,
Whoa!
wow, and putting their own channels up.
That's true.
And now we see the little hopping things, the bunnies
That's
and the
true.
other little hopping things like the ants and the mosquitoes, etc., that are climbing on the trees, and they're going, oh, wow, and they're
Whoa!
putting their
Boom, boom,
channels
and the
up.
birds that land on the trees.
Yes,
Oh, wow!
channels up, and the lichen, oh, wow, channels up, and now it's spreading, and it looks like
Fast.
Yes, fast. It looks like lights coming on, or
Yeah,
color
boom, boom,
coming
boom,
on,
boom,
or like
boom.
in Phantom of the Opera, where color comes
Yes,
through the black and white.
spreads. That's
Boom.
true.
It's going through the boreal forest, the
That's
northern
true.
forest, faster than I would have thought possible, actually.
That's true.
But it isn't time-lapse photography.
No, it's actually moving at the speed that makes it look like time-lapse
Yes.
photography. Well, it's spreading fast. And at lots of different levels. I see the ground animals spreading it, and then the air animals spreading it, everyone's spreading it at their own.
And it's going into the microbes.
That's true.
And I see an awful lot of higher dimension beings
Yes,
just dropping
that's
down.
true.
They're like lining up, and it looks
bloop,
like,
bloop.
yes, that's right, like paratroopers. Boom,
Yes.
boom, boom. And they're just an endless line of wheeling paratroopers.
That's true. Boom, 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 boom.
Say, well, cool beans.
Cool beans.
Whoom.
Ooh.
Now the scene shifts. Whoom.
Yes.
And we see this level, again, failed experiment, waste of time to work here. Boom.
Boom.
They drop through to the subatomic level
That's
right
true.
underneath it. And wow, this is very similar to Planet Saskatch. Lots of open tubes. And I see a lot of higher dimension beings.
That's
checking
true,
out.
a lot.
Trooping in. Boom,
Boom, boom, boom, boom, boom, boom.
Cool beans.
That's true.
Supported above, supported beneath.
Whoosh, whoosh. That's
However, dun dun dun.
Yes.
That was very dramatic. Did you hear the music?
true. Yes.
However, the subatomic level of the subatomic level of the Lynn-Body-Mind,
That's
Jamie-Body-Mind dimension, there's troubles here.
That's true. Dark, heavy.
Dark, heavy, angry, resistant.
Really angry.
The get away, stinky soul
That's
attitude. So now the challenge is laid out. What do I know? Here's where Charles and Fernando are working right now.
That's true.
So, what can we do? We can offer ourselves as vessels to higher dimension beings.
Whoosh.
We can, for example, call for the rescue spirits of the light.
That's true.
Woo-hoo, to work through us,
Whoosh.
to rescue energy that is not in its own right place.
That's true.
Often, angry energy is angry because it isn't where it belongs.
That's true.
It isn't doing what its own destiny is calling for.
That's true.
Sometimes from fear, sometimes from confusion, sometimes from not good intent.
Yes.
So we can offer ourselves as vessels. You can use
You
us
can
as
use us
vessels,
as
asking
vessels.
for the rescue spirits of the light,
Whoosh.
particularly. Woohoo! That's a rush.
Whoosh. That's
Once
true.
more, calling for the rescue
Rescue
spirits of the light to reach down into the subatomic level of the subatomic level of us. Wow, there's an
Wow.
awful lot of energy being rescued.
That's true.
Just going right up through
Right
us.
up.
Boom,
Whoosh.
boom, boom, boom,
Whoosh.
boom, boom, boom. Now we just pulse, hold the space,
That's
light
true.
at the back, truth to truth.
Ooh.
Now we can call for the toxic waste disposal people.
Yes, that's true.
Come clear up the toxic emotions, the toxic thoughts, the craziness.
That's true.
Any toxicity on any level, we're not limiting it to that, but particularly at this subatomic level of the subatomic level of the subatomic level of Planet Saskatch,
Yes.
to clear the toxicity there, because there seems to be a big problem.
That's true.
Ooh, you can use us as
Ooh.
vessels.
You can use us as vessels.
Looking for toxic waste disposal people.
Toxic waste disposal people. Wow. Boom, boom, boom.
Creating an internal bubble so that you have all the time that you need, and still we can have it be done in 1 minute. Oh, I see why they said 1 minute. We're almost out of time. Got
That's
it.
true.
Closing the bubble, running the space, holding the space, strong, not collapsing, being a strong vessel for spirit. You can use us. Whoa. Holding the portal open, and they're showing me what appears to be a wormhole through space.
That's true.
It also looks like the blue event horizon, the lip
Yes,
of a black
that's
hole.
true.
It's an interdimensional portal, so we just hold it.
That's true.
And I see how I want to get
Ooh,
wide
yes,
and short
that's
to
true.
do that.
Me too.
Incorrect.
Long and
Longer.
thin.
Woohoo! Now, just starting to wave our learner's permit, calling for beings of the light who know exactly what to do to come clear this. Oh, now the big chunks of lies
true.
are coming up.
Boom,
Boom, boom, boom, boom, boom,
boom.
boom. It's like huge, big, thick, like chunks of the Earth's crust.
That's true.
Chunking up through us from this subatomic level of the subatomic level of us.
That's true.
We certainly have the right, thank you, and the responsibility to tend the energy of the subatomic particles of our subatomic particles. To not accept that responsibility would be crazy.
That's true.
Waving the learner's permit, asking for beings of the light
Ooh,
who know exactly what to
do.
do to come clear the subatomic level of the subatomic level of lies. Clear the lies, let truth prevail. We wish to live in truth.
It's true.
We wish to live in truth.
Thank you.
Seem to have our work cut out for us today. Can be better vessels. How can I do it better?
Can do it better.
Well, how can I do it
can I
better?
do it better?
Longer.
That's
Longer.
true.
I can do it. I can do it. I can do it.
I can do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Black Wolf, whoever you are.
Thank
I
you.
hope to get your name soon.
It's true. Tuning to perfect pitch of the higher souls destined to occupy these immediate presences. And now,
Boom.
perfect balance between the higher souls and the immediate presences. Boom, 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 all the way down through the levels. Boom, boom, boom,
Oh,
boom,
that's
boom.
intense.
That is true.
Woohoo! Wow! Wow! That
Whoosh.
was awesome.
That was awesome.
Let's do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.